Welcome to the show. Today's guest is Master Personal Trainer Jason Carver, co-owner of Dream Body Inc. in Atlanta, Georgia. He joins us from Atlanta. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Sherri, thank you for having me on. This is a great pleasure and an honor.
Thank you for sharing this topic with us. Our topic today is gut health and probiotics. Jason is very passionate about this topic, and you have a degree in exercise and health science. And so I want to thank you for sharing this topic with us. Okay, probiotics. Let's talk about that. Explain what exactly are probiotics.
Well, probiotics actually have a lot of definitions to them. I like to keep it simple just for the public, where I usually just will define a probiotic as good bacterium, found within our intestines for benefit to our bodies through regulation and balancing out, our intestinal function. So just, to make it simple, good bacteria found in our stomach to regulate and balance. I'm sorry, not stomach, our intestines to regulate and balance.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that puts it simply because we've seen a lot on TV with the Activia yogurt and the other supplements you can take instead of eating all that. But do you think that we need to change the way we think about our health in relation to probiotics and what it can do for us? I mean, like, are we thinking seriously about it enough, or is it just something that's out there and everybody hears of it, but they're not really thinking about it seriously? Do we need to change the way we think?
That's a great question, and absolutely. But right now, you're absolutely right what you just said. We hear about it all over the place. It's kind of a little bit of a fad buzzword that people are throwing around saying, I supplement probiotics. I should take more probiotics. We see them on popular TV shows and various forms of media, and most people don't really necessarily even know what they do for us. We just know that, it's something in addition to whatever else we're taking, vitamins and things like that, just another supplement. But we really don't have the full understanding generally as a population of what they can actually do for us. And so definitely changing the education and the knowledge behind what probiotics will do for our health is a very important part of myself, what I do as a trainer for my clients to educate them, because it's not a topic that most people are very familiar with. So we're starting to see a lot more emphasis from a health professional perspective going towards the intestines and just the digestive system as a whole, and how they can actually really benefit us and really heal our bodies. It's fascinating stuff.
Hmm. Now, you talked about emphasis. Do you find now that more and more doctors are suggesting this for their patients? Because in earlier years, physicians didn't talk about nutrition much or supplements. But and I've heard they didn't teach a lot of that in the earlier years in medical school, but now they are. Do you find that more physicians are suggesting this?
I am finding that they are suggesting it. However, I'm not really feeling like they're actually educating why a patient potentially should be.
Okay.
We hear probiotics and then on the other side we have, of course, antibiotics.
Right.
And so typically we're still seeing a lot of to get well going towards the antibiotic. And, so that's a whole nother topic for another day as
Yeah.
far as why, but I think, we both know why. So politics aside, we are starting to see a little bit more of the physicians desiring the health of their patients and starting to recommend more probiotics. That is true. But on the other hand, a supplement probiotic mm, might not necessarily be the best route. So, and that's, perhaps if there's time, we can talk about that a little bit later on in the interview.
Mhm.
But uh, probiotics definitely need to be consumed. The right kinds need to be consumed.
Okay, so can we talk about that? I want to ask about I want to ask about our eating, like moving away from foods that heal as a
Mm,
society, because of course fast food, even restaurant food, although it tastes delicious, there's a whole lot of sodium and other things in there that make it taste so nice. But
yeah.
do you, can we talk about that? Like as a culture, do you see us pulling away from those healthy foods, those
Mm,
natural foods that heal, or are we moving back toward that? Because there's, you turn the TV on, you turn the radio on, you read things online, and there's mixed messages. How do you feel about that?
yeah. Well, a rule of thumb for anybody listening to this, if there is a commercial for a food product, don't eat it.
I like
Don't
that.
eat it.
I like that. If you've seen
So,
it on a commercial, you shouldn't see it on your plate, right?
yes, when was the last time you saw a commercial for just a fruit basket at your grocery store? I don't remember ever seeing one. I don't remember seeing, commercials or a whole lot of marketing for some of these healthier foods. And again, that just goes towards, the whole business and the political side of things that, the viewers can dig deeper, which I encourage. I encourage a lot of education as far as the food science, the political behind the lobbies, things like that. But that's not what I really try to promote. I do try to just promote healthy eating, good food sources, educating where to get those food sources from. But to answer your question, where do I see the trend as far as, are we continuing to still eat bad processed fast food, or are we kind of starting to move in another direction? It depends on your location. I'm down here in the South in Atlanta. We love our country food, of course. Even in the city of Atlanta, we have very, very famous restaurants that are extremely, extremely greasy, extremely tasty, and they still thrive, even though every single bite, everybody knows the potential health hazard that they're causing themselves, but people still continue to eat that. Um, but we are starting to see down here, we are starting to see a health wave, a really neat health wave, and it's starting to just kind of sweep across Metro Atlanta. And I'm excited because, I'm seeing this and I'm predicting it, and I get to be on the forefront of it, and I get to help people educate, because what's happening, people are starting to say, oh, Jason, you're talking about this, and all of a sudden I saw this on TV, but you were talking about it a year ago.
Yeah.
And that's really neat. And so they're starting to now see this. So, I try to stay a little bit ahead of the trend, just a little bit, and that way, people can kind of come behind me, and I feel like I can educate them, but I also have a great, great sphere of friends that also are really into it. So we kind of all like to kind of bounce around
Mhm.
each other and get ideas, and just kind of test the waters. But um, we definitely have, of course, as a society, removed ourselves from what real food is. That's a known fact, and that's, everybody knows that. So, but how do you go back to the basics? How do you go back to the foods that my grandparents or my great grandparents ate? Right now, that's quite difficult. And so, unless you're living in kind of a rural area, if you're in the city, that's going to be quite difficult to find those foods that are extremely nutrient dense, that haven't been sitting in a grocery store or even freezers or whatever for weeks.
Right.
So,
Now, of course, eating healthy, eating whole foods, but what if we don't. So you talk about Southern eating, all that delicious food. What if
Yes.
we don't? We just eat it because it's good, and that's what Grandma makes, and that's what we eat every
Yeah.
Sunday. And what are some of the consequences?
Well, if this is where you're going into, whew, you're going into a uh, the neurological side of how we as Americans have started to eat, where we say, I eat this because I like this.
Right.
You know, I eat this because the taste buds are extremely stimulated when I'm putting this over my tongue, and your brain is releasing all these chemicals that you become, and unfortunately, you become addicted to it. And food companies have teams. Some major companies have hundreds of scientists that are sitting down all day long trying to figure out what are the most addictive things to our brains. And then they put it on our food.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it can be surprising, it can be alarming. But again, that's just what I try to just educate that so but to remove yourself from things that you have been consuming for a very long time can get quite difficult. And your body, if you truly desire, say somebody is addicted to sodas, consumes sodas regularly, consumes processed food regularly, eats cookies out of the box, consumes chips, things like that on the regular, but then they choose, they are dead set on changing their lifestyle. There is no way they're going to be able to go cold turkey without just completely disrupting their neuronet. Their brain is going to go wacko and they're going to relapse. There's a few people that won't, but for the most part, people will relapse. So to wean off of it, to detox the body, is something that I also really try to educate all my clients, all of our online personal training clients. I really try to educate them, how do you effectively detox your body. Um, and it's huge. It's huge science, and a lot of people see great results from it. Not only are they removing themselves from the foods, but they're also losing a ton of weight, and their energy is going through the roof because they're not eating dead foods anymore. Um, so if we removed ourselves for a long period of time through just if we remove ourselves from real food, eating fake food for a long period of time, then we're gonna see that intestinal wall, back to gut health, we're gonna see that intestinal wall break down, and before you know it, your body's not gonna be absorbing nutrients. You're gonna start to experience failure all over your body. You're gonna have increased inflammation, arthritis, lupus, things like that. Your other organs are going to go into overdrive. Your liver is going to go into overdrive. You're going to have liver shutdown. You're going to have kidney shutdown. So all of these things are originated from your gut, because everything that happens with your body comes from this motion. You're putting something into your mouth. It starts the digestion process and goes all the way down until it's expelled. It either gets absorbed or expelled. And if your gut wall is not healthy enough to absorb it, it's going to get expelled. Not to mention, if you can't use the nutrients that you're putting into your body, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to get sick, and there's no way you're ever going to be able to become well. And you're just going to take antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic, chasing symptoms.
Yeah. Wow. Some great information. Wow. So, what are some ways that we can get the probiotics? Now, of course, the yogurt that I mentioned early, because we see that on the commercial, and the tablets that I take. But what are
Yeah.
some ways that you can suggest that we get them?
Well, there are many different ways, and then I'm also going to give you a little bit of a caution as far as commercial probiotics. Um, you can go, actually, believe it or not, and you can actually buy fermented vegetables. Sometimes local farmers, believe it or not, will actually make them and sell them. I do make my own. It takes about a week to actually make jars of fermented vegetables. Only takes about 30 minutes. It's not that hard. And then for the whole fermentation process to happen, it takes maybe somewhere between 5 to 7 up to 10 days. But then you put them in your refrigerator, stops the fermenting or slows it down anyway, and you can keep those for a very long time. So you can make your own. You can go buy your own, and those are extremely alive and active probiotic sources. Very healthy for you. Um, and then you can actually buy fermented milk, which we commonly known as kefir, the Kefir. Sometimes we see those in stores. Sometimes you can actually make your own as well. That's another way that you can make your own probiotic, really, really healthy probiotic source that hasn't been commercialized. You can go buy that in stores. The yogurts, like you mentioned, that do have advertised probiotics. Definitely will have some probiotics in them, but will they have as many as they have advertised? That's who knows. Honestly, I don't know. But my caution is, just anything that potentially could be commercialized. You just do some research on it. That's all I encourage anybody to do, because you want to make sure when you are consuming your probiotics, you want to make sure that it can handle the stomach acid and bile and actually get into your intestines so it can thrive.
Good tips. Boy, you have a lot of good information. Thank you for that. Um, we have a couple minutes, so I want to mention your facility in Atlanta, in case anyone's in that area. Of course, we'll have
Yes.
your contact information in the description box, so if anyone wants to contact Jason. But DreamBody Inc. So you mentioned before how this focusing on gut health, what drove you to that? Now, unfortunately, your father was ill, and can you tell us a
hmm
little bit about that, how that motivated you to be more gut conscious, I guess?
Yeah, it really did. Just for the viewers, for a little bit of background, my father passed away a couple of years ago from cancer, and he went through all the conventional ways to treat that, the radiation, the chemotherapy, and even the surgery. And just unfortunately, he ended up passing away after a couple of years fighting that. And so after that, it really led me to really dive into how does our bodies prevent, things like cancer from overtaking it. And believe it or not, once I kind of peeled open that onion, if you want to call it that, once I peeled it open, it just kept peeling open and open and open, and my eyes were just so exposed to a whole new world of nutrition, and really diving into what it really means to eat well so our bodies can become healthy and stay healthy.
And now you're able to pass this information along to your clients and everyone in your community, which I'm sure they appreciate you so much. So before we go, I want to ask you, it's time to show Sherri your shoe. So I want you to show me your shoe and tell me why you wear that shoe.
Sure, sure. Let me get it real quick. All right. Well, everybody in Atlanta knows that I love Under Armour. And so uh, this is my cross trainer Under Armour shoe. I'm running it, but this is my primary gym shoe, and no real reason why I have these particular colors, but I do have a lot of bright neon green clothes that I wear, and so it just matched.
Nice, nice. I like that
even
shoe.
though, even though our dream bot, I don't know if you can see the logo right here, but this is our Dream Body shirt, and so our colors are red and black and white. Um, and so, I probably am going to go out and buy a red, black, and white shoe today now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, you have to match. That'd be cool. Well, today my shoe is Nike Shock, and I have worn these babies out. They are retired, so they've been through quite a few runs, and that's one of my favorite shoes, and that's my shoe for today.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for sharing all your information with us. And I want to tell our viewers, if you like this information, please like this video, share it, and subscribe. And you can contact Jason. His information will be below. So thank you for
Fantastic.
watching. Thank you for sharing. Okay, take care.